This was the largest and the most aggressive attack, shipping attack from the Houthis since the Israel-Hamas war started. As you mentioned, there was a barrage of missiles and drones fired at ships, and this forced the US and the UK navies to intercept them by shooting them down. We don't know which ships exactly were targeted, whether it was the warships, US and British warships themselves that were attacked, or whether it was commercial vessels. But I think what this does show is that the Houthis are living up to their statements that they will not back down. They've been warned again and again by the US and by others that there will be consequences if they carry on with these shipping attacks. We have reported that the US is mulling military action on Yemen, where the Houthis are based, but so far the Houthis are carrying on, and they have said that they won't step back until Israel pulls back from Gaza and stops its war against Hamas in the territory.
So, Paul, what is next? Is it military action? Is it a military response directly on Yemen territory by the US and its allies? What are you watching for, and how has the market responded?
It's certainly possible that we see military action of some kind, most likely led by the US, perhaps with some allies like the UK, on Yemeni targets. But there are a whole host of problems with that. It's a big question as to whether strikes such as those would be at all effective. Yemen is a huge area. The Houthis fire missiles and drones from big swathes of it. It's not like they're operating from a very small piece of land. We don't know how good US intelligence is on Houthi positions. They've been trained by Iran and others for a long time in doing this so that they avoid detection and so on and so forth. The other thing, and this is a big issue for Saudi Arabia and other governments in the region, and even the US, to be frank, is that you could provoke the Houthis into even more aggressive action. Perhaps they might strike Saudi Arabian targets like they have done in the past, which would really roil oil markets. So there is actually an argument among some Western militaries that actually just hold off for now, try the diplomatic route, because the last thing you want to do is really poke the Houthis into doing something that spooks global energy markets.
And thinking, Paul, about diplomacy and diplomatic efforts, Anthony Blinken is still in the region, at the West Bank, I think, today. Tell us what we expect.
So much of his trip, and it's another whirlwind tour for him. He's been to everywhere from Qatar to Saudi Arabia to the UAE. As you mentioned, he's in the West Bank today. He was in Tel Aviv yesterday, Egypt tomorrow. He has been trying to speak to Arab allies to reassure them that the US is putting pressure on Israel to do whatever it can to stop civilian deaths in Gaza. But I think he's also putting pressure on Arab governments to do whatever they can to ensure the conflict doesn't escalate much from here, and certainly that it doesn't. That they do whatever they can to stop Iranian proxies, whether it's Hezbollah in Lebanon or the Houthis from attacking Israel and from attacking commercial shipping. In all honesty, so far his trip doesn't seem to have produced much in the way of progress. We'll see what comes out of the trip to the West Bank today and Egypt tomorrow. A lot of that from those two territories is probably about getting more aid into Gaza. That's something that Arab countries are very adamant. They say that must happen. But as Blinken himself said on Sunday, we're at a perilous moment in the Middle East.